Oh man, I'm pretty excited. I didn't need a shave horse, I just really wanted a shave horse. I wanted to start doing I saw some spoon carving and other kinds of carving, and I thought, man, I really want to get into that, but I don't have a lot of room. My workspace here is about a half a garage. Everything on that side that you guys can't see is storage, normal garage stuff, and then I've got the other half for all my crafts and projects and woodworking. So I really wanted a shave horse, but I needed something that I could put away, and it would be small and lightweight and not take up a lot of room. So I scoured YouTube, and I think I watched every single shave horse video that's ever been made. And there were some great ones, great designs. I mean, they all work. It's just depends on what you're looking to, what your needs are. But like I said, I needed something really small and that I could put away. And I found a bunch of guys out there, making 2x4 based, dimensional lumber based systems. That's what I wanted. I didn't want to spend a lot of money on it. And then I also saw some guys who made some collapsible ones where the legs folded. So I went with that. I didn't use their design. I went with my own, but I used that idea. So here's the base of the system. So it's made from 2x4s and some pieces of plywood, and then some all-thread bolts for the hinges. And then that's it. These are at a 15-degree angle. And then this can work great as a sawhorse or a work platform. And here on the top, I've cut notches into these little spacer blocks at a 45-degree angle. And the reason for that is if I want to go out and cut down some branches to make some spoons from some greenwood carving, I can use this bench to hold my work pieces while I cut them. So if I want to cut this knot off, it holds it really well with this notch and having those 45-degree angles in the top there. The next part is, if you're going to be sitting on this shaving wood, you need a seat. So I just made simple simple seat. The top is made from some foam floor mat. I just bought some cheap floor mat, cut it to shape, glued it on here, and then that just sits down on the top. And there's nothing holding it there other than the back pressure. So, because if I'm even pushing forward, it's not going to slide off there or move around. All right, now next is the shave horse itself, and this is the upright. And what I wanted, because I don't know, I'm not an expert at this, I've never carved a lot of wood, but I wanted something that was adjustable, because I don't know what size piece of wood I'm working with, or if my kids want to use it, the shave horse that fits me perfect, it's not going to fit them. So I wanted something that was adjustable, and this is the system I came up with. These are 3/8" steel rods that you get I got them at Home Depot. It was a big 3-foot piece, and I cut a bunch of these at 6 inches, tapered the ends on my grinder, and then just glued some pre-made knobs on the ends. And it worked out pretty good. So I find that there's holes every 3 inches here, so I've got a bunch of adjustability forward and back. Take this, find that first hole, and then I slide these in. And that holds it. And if that's too low, then I can come up or down, depending on what piece of wood I'm working with. And then I also use this on some other attachments that I'll show you in a minute. So that's the upright. And then this is the head. And so this slides on here like this. And again, I use the same exact, these are all interchangeable, so it doesn't matter where you're, I can either have this flat, in the hole. I guess I wasn't in the hole there. There we go. So I can have this one flat, or I have also drilled a second hole that puts this head at about a 12-degree angle. So it's like that. Right here is the lever arm. And on this one, I made it pretty wide, again, because I didn't know what kind of wood I might be working with in the future. If I was just spoon carving, I could use a really narrow one and that'd be good enough. But, you know, I don't, maybe someday I want to carve something else. So I made it a little bit wider so it was more, lift that up like that, slide it right up. And then, you know, I have 3 holes here and then 5 holes here. So I've got a lot of adjustability. These are 2 inches apart, so I can come up 2 inches pretty quickly. Goes through like that. And then on the head itself, it's wider than it is tall. So if I need about a 1/2 inch of adjustment this way, I can just turn the head and that drops it down a 1/2 inch because the hole is not centered. So if I get my piece of wood here, stick it in there, and I have my axle set close to the dumb head, and the reason for that is I amplify the pressure by quite a lot. It's kind of like a pair of loppers, you know, the handles are really long and the blades are really small because you get a lot of pressure. So I barely have to push on the bottom and I get a ton of pressure at the top. Because if the axle's in the middle and you put 1 pound of pressure, you're only going to get 1 pound back here on the top. But if the farther away from the center you go, the more that's amplified. So you can get a lot of pressure from this with just a tiny bit. And this fits me just perfect. I know a lot of the shave horses I saw, the guys were leaning way back, you know, and they're basically using their foot to get that last bit of pressure. But here I don't have that problem. I can just relax. Just the weight of my legs is pushing on it and it's not going anywhere. So it feels real comfortable and I can work right up wherever I want. And if I'm doing something really, really intricate, like close to my face, I can raise the whole thing up and that works out great. Alright, I will take this all off and then show you guys the spoon mule attachment. Alright, so for the spoon mule, I'm going to use the same upright that I used for the shave horse head, but I have to turn it around. I also have to bring it a little closer up. That's kind of the nice thing about, you know, reusing the same pieces is when it's adjustable like this, that it's so easy to just move it closer or up and down for whatever you need. Then I grab the spoon mule head. The same keeper rods that I used before. I just put that through, and that's it. On this head, the mortise here is actually really wide. It's way wider than you'd need for spoons. But again, I didn't know what I would be working with all the time, and I wanted a lot of adjustability. So if I want it to be narrow, I have some keepers that I put in here, and that makes my clamping a lot easier. I don't have to pull my legs way far apart to get it to clamp very close. So I'll show you guys that right now. I just went ahead and made these little like C-shaped blocks, and what they do is just bring the clamps closer together. So if I want something that's, you know, this is like a 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch piece. If I want to clamp something that small, I can just use those little space blocks, and that pulls it together. My legs are very comfortable. They're straight out in front of me, and I just have to put a little bit of side pressure, and then it's clamped super tight. I can also, I put several holes up and down, and then I have this small keeper, so I can go way up here like this on this one. And the neat thing about this is if I'm in a hurry or I don't want to change out the whole head, I can actually use my spoon mule head to shave bark off of even larger pieces, like this piece here. I can actually use the same arm, and that is super tight, and I'm barely putting any pressure on there, and then I don't have to go change out to the shave horse head if I don't want to. So that's really tight. And then once I get it whittled down to an actual spoon shape, I can just pull this pin out, adjust these back down. Take my whatever size keeper I need to adjust that space. And then I can do very fine, scoop out the spoon right here in front of me. This is angled a little bit so that whatever piece you're working with has space underneath it. The other nice thing about this head is that I can pull this completely out and flip it over. And then on this side, I can put in some supports that come out past the head, and I can move the whole head back. And then if I was working on a very long handle, I could still work off the sides of the head, but have some support under the long handle, so that something like this could be clamped on there, and then I could work off of the edge here. Anyway, so that's the spoon mule head, and I will show you the bowl vise. Alright, so for the bowl clamp, I didn't really even set out to make this, but when I was looking up the shave horse videos, I saw another guy make a big clamp for carving bowls, and I thought, well, if you're going to make spoons, maybe bowls would be next. So I just went ahead and built the whole head system for that, and this is what that looks like. It's kind of bulky, but this is what I came up with. So this just sets down in here. And again, I can adjust it up and down if I need to, but right now it fits pretty good, like just straight down on the thing. That goes in there like that. I take one of these pins, and then I can adjust my arm based on how big the piece of log is that I'm going to be working with. So I think somewhere in around here probably be good, maybe. And then I have like this small block of wood. That's not big enough. I'll move back one, and again, that's kind of the nice thing about this, is it just depends on what kind of piece of wood you're working with. Oh, why isn't it going down there? Alright. Just like that. Oh, and then I gotta get the foot pedal. Alright. Just like that. So now, a little bit of downward pressure, and a super strong clamp. And then if I just want to roll this over and work on the other side, super strong clamp. These little blocks here I made in case I want to work up above the clamp, because this clamp head can be in the way. If these were all the way down in the bottom, and I was working with some downward pressure, they might slip down, and then I can't work here as well. So I made these little blocks, and they just fit in there like that. And hold that up off the bottom. A little bit of clamping pressure, and then I can gouge, work, whatever, carve out a bowl or anything. I mean, I could just, if I was getting into some real fine carving or wood burning or whatever, it's all just right here, and then I can just take the pressure off, put the pressure back on, and it's good to go. Alright, I will show you the next attachment I made. See how awesome this is? You just keep piling on the attachments. Alright, so for this next attachment, I don't have any carving tools. I have one small draw knife. It's super tiny. It works great. It can handle a lot of work. But if I want a bigger draw knife or some carving tools and gouges, I don't have any of that stuff. So I thought, I want to make those. Make them or buy them, but if I was going to make some handles, I can use this but then I don't have any leather working tools to make a sheath for all the carving tools that I want to make. So I decided that I would make a shave pony, or a stitch pony is what they call it. And so I made one of those. So that this bench is actually just amazing with all the things that you can come up with. And they just stick on here like that. Oh, that was a little tight. Must have swollen up or something. And anyway, it's on there. And then I used an old broken clamp that I had to make this adjustable. I don't know if I'm going to stick with this, but what I did like about it was that I get a big throat, workable area in here, but then my pressure is up higher. So a lot of guys were using like threaded nuts, wing nuts on a threaded rod, but they're kind of losing clamping force. Again, the farther away from the jaws, the less force you have. But this puts the force back up towards the jaws, but keeps the throat, that much lower. So anyway, I think I like this system. I haven't got to work with it yet, but I'm hoping that it makes it quick and easy to adjust when I'm clamping two pieces of leather to stitch them, saddle stitch them together, and then I can just move it around and then clamp it back again, and it's ready to go. All right, thanks for watching.